All right, so here's a tutorial I'm making for Dan. What's up, Dan? We're gonna play some StarCraft. So I got my protoss here. Actually, before I jump into a game, one thing I do is go into the settings, mouse and keyboard, hotkeys, and I change things around from the default just a little bit. So you can create a profile, like there's the standard hotkeys, which you're on. I go down to global here. They have obviously like separate hotkeys for each race, but go down to global, and camera is one that I change. Like there's different camera locations you can set, and I don't know why I'm looking down here. I'm looking at my my interface. There you are. Here's again the different camera locations. So Control F5. It's kind of way over on the keyboard and kind of hard to reach. So I've changed them. What I've done is I go, oh, looks like I didn't keep mine. Oh, it did, okay. So I changed mine to Control F1, F2, F3, 4, 5. I mean, you can do 6, 7, 8 if you want, but I don't bother that. And then make sure you also change these to jump to location. So let's say you have, and this will make more sense if it doesn't right now when you see it. But let's say for location 1, you assign it by hitting Control F1. And then now for jump to location 1, remember, create location 1? Now jump to location 1 is just F1. All you gotta do is hit F1 and it jumps right to where you set it. So I do that for at least F1 through F5 with the corresponding, 2 to F2, 3 to F3, etc. Also, what that's going to do is, because F2 right now is by default set as a select all army hotkey. So by pushing F2, it's going to select your entire army, and we're overwriting that. Same with F1, that selects all idle workers. We're overwriting that. So what I do is I set that to be select all, the apostrophe key at the very, to the left of the number 1 key. And then I set the select all workers to be caps lock. That's just my preference. You can set it whatever you want to be, but select all army is a handy one to have, and having it right next to the number 1 key is pretty cool. You just smack that and you have all your army, which you shouldn't rely on, by the way, but we'll get into that another time. Anyway, another thing is mouse scroll speed. I like to have it at 75%-ish. By default, it's down at 25. So you can play around with that if you like. Again, that's all personal preference. So we'll go ahead and go. And for this, I'm going to do just like a standard ground army build. And see, and I'm not a good protoss player, so don't watch other videos, watch pros. Don't take my playing as any kind of standard. All right, so first thing I do, see, I create a probe, and then I do that chrono boost. And as soon as that guy's done, boom, another one. Now I'm not gonna try to fill that up, at least not while I'm still not having a ton of money, because that's just wasting. It's paying for something you're not using right away. So do that. Keep the probes coming. Something cool too is, check this out. If you have them go somewhere, hit the shift key, hold shift, and you can assign a whole thing there. So one thing I do also is I assign this guy as number 4, so Control 4, and you'll see that assigns a hotkey to him. And then your Nexus, I do Control 1. So every time I want to go back home, I can double tap 1, and there it is. Or if I just want to be creating units, I can do that. Now, also with the shift key, I can do things like this. So make him look. I don't have to be babysitting him. Do another chrono boost there. Always do that when it's available. It's almost done. Oh, but also F1. So we double tap so we're centered on that, and then control F1. Now every time we hit F1, it goes right back there. We don't have to worry about losing our location.
Those probes are hurting.
And they can't fight back.
Oh no, he died. Alright.
You can't. You're short on minerals.
Really short.
So now once I have a second nexus going, I'm going to hit shift. So I click the first one, where I just push 1 to select it, shift, hold it, and click that guy, and then control 1 to make them both on the same hotkey. And I can do control F2 for that one. So F1, F2. And go back between the two real fast. Hopefully you don't have epilepsy.
Need more gas.
And I should have been building gas. See, like, I've made so many mistakes already. If anyone close to, like, even Platinum League was watching me, they'd be smacking their head like, what is he doing? Alright. Now since I have a bunch of money, I am gonna
Not enough Vespine gas.
just fill that queue up. I'm gonna send him over there. And if you didn't know, like when you do this and select a bunch of guys, you can hold shift and click them here, and they'll unassign them. Double click to select all, or control click will also select them all. All within that area. If there were guys off screen, it would not select them. So I can hit number 1 to select both my nexus, and then do that. Hit the C hotkey for the chrono boost.
Energy.
Alright, let's see what we can build.
You can't warp there. Not enough Vespine gas.
So he's going to do 2 of those. Again, that shift key coming into big time handy.
Your precious little minerals are low.
You're short on minerals.
Really short.
And take. I also see. I don't do this with Zerg. That's why I forgot to do it. But you have buildings that create units. So let's say, like for your gateways, you can hit Control 4, and that selects your gateways. So every time you want to make dudes, like you might be over here looking at the bad guy, and then you're hitting 4, and you're building units the whole time, and then selecting your guys. See how I don't change my view, but I can go from building probes to building units to selecting my army, all blindly. I don't have to sit there and watch it happen or move the mouse over. So that just takes up a lot of time. All right. I'm going to want a lot of gas.
You need pylons. You're short on minerals.
Really short.
Oops.
Harvest more minerals, soldier.
Alright. Need more pylons.
Make more pylon things.
See what else I can build. Twilight Council. Let's see what else. Robotic Support Bay. Why not?
Your precious little minerals
Let's
are low.
chrono boost those guys. And see, I just hit my select all army hotkey. Make sure you A move. So what that is you hit the A hotkey for attack. So that way if I were to send them across the map and they run into an enemy, they'll automatically attack. Whereas if I don't do that and the enemy does, my dudes are going to get killed and they'll just be walking blindly the whole time. See, another thing I didn't do is I didn't build a forge to upgrade my dudes. Again, don't use me as a standard. Thought I already built the Twilight Council. Maybe I didn't. I didn't. Alright.
You can't warp there.
Listen to that protoss music, so dramatic. Alright. And obviously we're not building air dudes, so let's upgrade ground. Maybe one more, because I forgot the upgrade shields too. Let's get blink, because we have stalkers that we're building. Add that one to our list of Nexi.
Your research is finished. Go, Cost.
Let's do that. Boost
Mineral
it.
fields depleted.
And Archons. While we're at it.
Can't warp there.
Oh, this is good. I should have done this a long time ago. The warp gate.
Harvest more minerals, soldier.
You require my skill.
So see, I could double click those and it's gonna select all my gateways that are warping in there. I could then hit Control and Shift. So Control is select all, and then Shift is add to. Boom, click. Oops,
Mineral fields.
not those guys. So Shift, click, click, click. These guys, then Control 4. Now I've got all these dudes on all these buildings on one chrono boost that, one hotkey. Boom. Maybe 5 for these. 4 for all those. Let's make sure we're getting gas. I'm kind of a gassy guy. Sorry. And as soon as that's done, these are all going to turn into warp gates.
Use it well.
Research is done.
Boom, there we
Now go make it
are.
worthwhile.
So yeah, I can warp dudes in right there if I want to. I'll put it behind that little thing, so just in case he can't see me. Let's build some Templar. Oh yeah, only 5 at a time. So I only have 5. Just realized the hotkeys. This is gas right there. Oh boy.
Get gas already.
And see, I was holding shift. That's how I did that so fast. I didn't have to click, 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 or even hit T, click, T, click, T, click. Just T once, hold shift, and you can do multiple clicks. Alright, so we have a pretty formidable army here. And I'll set a hotkey on them, like 2. And this way, is one of the mistakes that a lot of people do is they rely on the select all army hotkey. So let's say you hit select all army. Now you have every combat unit you have in one group. Great, you know, that's great.
Mineral fields
But
depleted.
what if you want to leave some dudes home for defense? So I can do this, Control 2, Control 3. So now I've got different groups. Double clicking or double tapping, you know, 2, then double tapping 3 centers the camera on them. Let's attack there. Or you might not even want to have, you know, one group back for defense and everything like that. You might want to attack from multiple angles. If that's the case, having 2 different groups, super handy. So one can hit from the right, One can hit from the left.
A mineral field is
Shift and add those guys. Those 3.
mineral fields depleted.
You know, look at that. We got dudes funneling from everywhere. Looks like a giant ball of death. Kablamo. I'm walking them in, that way they all, you know, they're not bottlenecked in there, where only a couple guys are actually firing and everyone else is just kind of like standing there like, ugh. That's that, man. So, as a quick recap, the things that I wanted to highlight on there is the camera selection. So, boom, 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 boom. And see how it's always right there in the middle of the screen? It's because when I selected it, like if you were to double tap one, it's going to automatically go to whichever one is closest of the 3 that are in the group. So control F3, now I have 1, 2, 3. My 3 different base locations. You'll see on the mini map right here. See it's going between the 3. I could even, if I wanted to, like when the bad guy was here, control F4 and I have my bases and I have the bad guy's base. So I don't have to be clicking the mini map, I just go to wherever I want it. And I can set these anywhere. So 1, 3, 4, 5. You know, not that you'd ever set a random map location in the middle or a camera location in the middle of the map, but you can. And then group selections. So we've got 2 combat groups. Remember we set 2 and 3. So here's 2, 3. We can move them independently. We can hold shift, tell them to do different things. And then you can always pick the group back up and hold shift and add more commands. So you can keep them going. Let's see if we can do something cool here. We'll go circles this way. And then I'll do circles. We're gonna we'll go this way.
Mineral fields
Some of these
depleted.
dudes are following other dudes, so thought we'd get like a cool little thing going, but it's kind of a little cluster. And of course, we can hit select all and tell them to go somewhere. So those are the main things I wanted to show you that just make you more efficient and effective. But I'll send you some actual pro matches where you can watch real pros, and you'll be amazed at how fast and amazing they are at this game. Anyway, until next time, see ya.